Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Happy weekend, everyone. You have a wonderful weekend. Today, we shall be starting from where we stopped last week. Time Charter Party. We are beginning from Time Charter Party. It is a legal document that outlines the terms and conditions for the charter of a specific vessel for a defined era or period. Unlike a voyage charter party, which is focused on a single voyage, a time charter party grants the charterer the use of the vessel for a specified duration. The ship owner retains possession of and control of the vessel, while the charterer is responsible for operational aspects during the charter period. As the name suggests, a time charter party is a legal document that binds both the charterer and the ship owner. It clearly specifies, it clearly outlines, it clearly spells out the terms and conditions, the do's and don'ts for the charter of a specific vessel. This is the person that wish to rent a ship or a vessel for a specific period, for a defined period of time. The ship owner then retains possession and control of the vessel, while the charterer is responsible for the operational aspects during the charter period. Now I want to talk about the key elements typically covered in a time charter party. The key elements covered under time charter party. One, we have the vessel details. Two, we have the owners and charterers. Three, we have the hire and duration. Four, we have the delivery and redelivery. 5. We have the place of delivery. Place of delivery or redelivery. Also, we have the LACAN. It's a short abbreviation of a definite word. 7. We have the payment terms. 8. We have the off hire. 9. We have the bunkers. 'Also, we have maintenance and running expenses. These are some of the key elements covered under time charter party. We will now explain them one after the other. The vessel details. This talks about the identification of the vessel, the type of flag that will be raised, the vessel name and tonnage. The vessel details again talks about the identification of the vessel, the owner of the vessel, as well as the charterer should be able to identify the exact vessel in use or that will be used, including its name. The name must be boldly written on the vessel, on the ship. We have the type of the vessel. What type of vessel is it? The tonnage and the flag raised. The type of flag. The color. Next is the owners and charterers. The owners and charterers. This talks about the name and details of the ship owners and the charterers. The paraphernalia, the basic attributes, the characteristics, the details, which must be brief. A brief description of the ship owner or owners and the charterer or charterers. This is explicit enough. We have the hire and duration. The hire It is the rental paid by the charterer as the person that wants to make use of the vessel. He pays a certain amount to the ship owner for making use of the vessel for a defined or specific period of time. The duration of the charter period is clearly specified, clearly stated in the MOU signed by both parties involved. Just like you want to make use of an equipment, or you want to make use of anything, you want to rent a hall, you're going to pay. That is called rental or rent. So in the case of a ship or vessel, in case of maritime, a definite amount is paid by the charterer to the ship owner for making use of his or her vessel for a defined or specific period of time, during which the charter period is boldly stated. Next is delivery and redelivery. This clearly states or outlines the conditions for the delivery of the vessel to the charterer and the redelivery to the ship owner at the end of the charter period. States, it carefully describes the parameters, the conditions, the situations, the reason behind the delivery of the vessel to the charterer. Now, after the charterer might have made use of the vessel, he or she then redeliver the vessel back to the ship owner at the end of the charter period as agreed upon by both parties or as stated in their terms and conditions. This is straightforward. Now, the place of delivery or redelivery. This describes the location where the vessel will be delivered, the area, the geographical territory, the area of jurisdiction, the place, the location, where the vessel will be delivered to the charterer at the beginning, at the start, at the commencement of the charter. And where it will be redelivered at the end of the charter period. That is, after making use of the vessel, there is a place, there is a location where the vessel will be redelivered to, as carefully stated between both parties. This is the Lacan mentioned earlier. The short form of lay days and counseling. It refers to the agreed upon period during which the charterer can nominate the vessel for loading or discharging operations. Lay days are the specific days. Lay days are the defined days within the lacon during which loading or discharging operations must commence. They are the days, as agreed upon by both parties, during which there will be loading cargo or discharging of items on board on the ship, which must of course commence. On the other hand, cancelling dates specifically outlines or describes the end period, the deadline for cancelling the charter if the vessel is not nominated within the lacon. It describes and specifies the exact period, the exact time, and we come to an end for a definite charter to be cancelled if the vessel is not nominated within the lacon. Lacon is a short form of lay days and cancelling. We also have the payment terms. Here, this describes the details regarding the payment of hire. Should there be any advance payments in the process? This will be stated under payment terms. The type of currency, the exact currency in which payments are to be made, whether in dollars, pounds, euro, naira, sefa, cedis, or riyal, as the case may be. Payment is typically made in regular installments throughout the charter period. This is permissible. Payment terms again describes the details regarding the payment of hire. Where possible, advance payments, and the exact currency as agreed upon in which payments are to be made. And clearly states that payment is typically made in regular installments throughout the charter period. Off hire. The off hire explains the conditions under which the vessel may be declared off hire, relieving the charterer of the obligation to pay hire during certain circumstances, such as dry docking or repairs. In other words, the off hire gets a boost, gets compensated during certain circumstances outside his or her control, especially that which has to do with repairs and dry docking. It relieves the charterer of a definite obligation. Next is bunkers. Specification of the party responsible for providing and paying for fuel. The charterer often bears the cost of fuel, but the charter party will outline the terms. Essentially, this key element states the type of party that will be responsible for the provision and payment of fuel. And in most cases, it is the charterer that bears the cost of fuel. But the charter party will definitely outline the terms under this definite component or element. Maintenance and running expenses. This talks about the allocation of responsibilities for routine maintenance, day-to-day maintenance, routine check, repair costs, and other running expenses during the charter period. The charterer is typically responsible for day-to-day operational expenses. This defines the allocation of responsibilities for routine maintenance. If should any maintenance come in or set in or come into play, this concept allocates responsibilities. Oh, it's going to be the duty or responsibility of the charterer or the ship owner or vessel owner. Repair costs. Who will bear the cost for repairs? Will it be the charterer or will it be the vessel owner or ship owner? And other running expenses as may be specified during that period. Of course, the charterer is typically responsible for day-to-day operational expenses. We also have the employment of vessel. We have the cancellation clause as well. Now let's talk about the employment of vessel. This clearly defines the purpose for which the vessel will be employed or used during the charter period. Such as transporting certain types of cargo, or engaging in specific trade routes. The employment of vessel clearly states the purpose purpose for which the vessel will be utilized. During the charter period, such as transporting certain types of cargo or engaging in specific trade routes. This is as clearly defined in the Memorandum of Understanding by both parties involved. They have the cancellation clause. The cancellation clause spells out the conditions under which either party can cancel, exterminate, or terminate the charter, including any penalties or compensation. It states the situations, the conditions under which either party, it is the ship owner and the charterer, can cancel the charter. And should there be anything of such, penalties or compensation will then set in. It attracts penalties and or compensation by both parties. Should it be the case of the charterer knows that there will be penalties. But in the case of the ship owner, compensation then sets in. Law and arbitration. Specification of the governing law and the mechanism for resolving disputes is done often through arbitration. Should there be any disputes, a law has been made to be followed strictly. And should there be any conflict of interest, should there be any conflict or any conflicting issue, disputes, disagreements, this is done through arbitration. This is simple and straightforward to comprehend. The time charter parties provide flexibility for both ship owners and charterers. The ship owner receives a steady income stream over the charter period, while the charterer gains control of the vessel for a specified duration without the long-term commitment associated with vessel ownership. Legal professionals, ship owners, and charterers engage in negotiations to define and clarify the terms based on the specific requirements of the charter. The time charter practice provides flexibility for both ship owners and charterers. This clearly means that it makes business easy to do, allowing both parties to flow, allowing both parties to express themselves, allowing both parties to thrive, allowing both parties to conduct and transact business subject to laid down rules and regulations. Of course, negotiations will set in to clarify basic terms based on the legal framework, the requirements of the charter. What are the clauses in a time charter party? One. But before then, let us talk about the clauses. What does it mean? A time charter party includes various clauses that defines the rights, responsibilities, and obligations of both the ship owner and the charterer during the charter period. The specific terms can be based. The specific terms can vary, of course, based on negotiations between the parties, the type of vessel in use, and the intended use. Now, I want to talk about the common clauses found in a time charter party. Common clauses found in a time charter party. You have the hire clause, you have the duration, you have the duration of charter, you have the delivery and redelivery. Let me start with those three first, and then we'll move gradually to others. And the first one here is hire clause. H-I-R-E, hire. This specifies the rate at which the charterer will pay hire. To the ship owner for the use of the vessel. The calculation will be based on a daily or monthly rate. It defines the rate, the amount in which the charterer will pay the person trying to hire the ship, that is the charterer, pay this amount to the ship owner for making use of the vessel. And the computation will be based on the daily or monthly rate. Again, we're talking about the Common clauses found in a time charter party. Second one here is the duration of charter. It clearly states the period for which the vessel is chartered. This could be a fixed period of 6 months or a year, as the case may be, or an open-ended charter with the option to terminate with notice. Duration states the period, the time frame, the era for which a definite vessel is in use. In other words, it could be a fixed period of 6 months, a year, more or less, or an open-ended charter with the option to terminate with a notice. This is important. The next one is delivery and redelivery clause. Delivery and redelivery clauses. The delivery and redelivery clauses outlines the conditions and procedures for delivering the vessel to the charterer at the beginning of the charter period and redelivering it to the ship owner at the end of the charter. What are the procedures? What are the conditions? What are the rules? What are the laid down rules for delivering a vessel to the charterer at the beginning of the charter period? It also said the clauses for redelivering same back to the ship owner at the end of the charter period. Simple and straightforward. The fourth one here is the laycan. That's the lay days and cancelling. Laycan. This clearly specifies the laycan period during which the charterer can nominate the vessel, as emphasized a while ago, for loading or discharging operations. The lay days here are the specific days within the laycan during which loading or discharging must commence. The cancelling date sets out the deadline for cancelling the charter if the vessel is not nominated within the laycan. The clauses are there. The period during which a vessel can be nominated. Still talking about point 4, laycan, that is the lay days and cancelling. Talks about the period during which a vessel can be nominated. Yes, is done during a specified or a defined period for such to happen, after which cancellation will then set in if it is not done within the stated charter period. Cancellation or cancelling of such will then set in. We have the off-hire clause. The off-hire clause describes the circumstances under which the vessel may be declared off hire, relieving the charterer of the obligation to pay the hire. The common off-hire events include a dry docking or repairs that are the responsibility of the ship owner. The off-hire again describes the circumstances under which the vessel may be declared off-hire, relieving the charterer of the obligation to pay for the hire. And common off-hire events include dry docking or repairs. Should there be any repairs, it's the responsibility of the ship owner in this case to do the needful. You have the bunkers clause. It describes or determines which party is responsible for providing and paying for fuel. The charterer typically pays the cost of fuel. And the clause specifies the quantity and quality of bunkers at the start and end of the charter period. This clause describes the party that will be involved in the provision and payment for fuel. This is clearly identified, this is clearly stated in the terms. And in most cases, the charterer bears the cost. Essentially, the clause specifies the quantity and quality of bunkers at the start and end of the charter period. Next is the maintenance and running expenses. Maintenance and running expenses explains the allocation of responsibilities for routine checks, routine maintenance, and repairs, and other running expenses during the charter period. The charterer is often responsible for day-to-day operational expenses. It allocates the responsibilities for routine checks, daily checks, regular checks, repairs, and other running expenses that may crop up during the charter period. Often times the charterer bears the cost for operational expenses, the day-to-day operational expenses. We also have employment of vessel clause, cancellation clause, war risk clause, insurance clause, law and arbitration clause. So when next we meet, we shall continue from employment of vessel clause. Thank you for listening.